Hello, Mr. Gumesh. Thank you so much for taking our time to interview with us and taking the initiative of helping out thousands of students who want to get into Tepper and know a lot more details and insights about the MBA program.
Absolutely. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, what would you like to tell the audience about the history and the legacy of your coveted MBA program?
Oh, wow. So our history is a long one. We are just celebrating our 75th anniversary this year. So we started about 75 years ago as the Graduate School of Industrial Management, of Industrial Administration rather, where we founded, revolutionized this idea of management science. So simply instead of approaching business from a case study method, we wanted to develop a way for future business leaders to discover solutions to problems that had no precedent, right? So we were able to really harness the power of data and apply that to this forward-thinking position that we've had for business. Management science has sort of been the model that all business schools have used in their curriculum. And we at Tepper, we at Carnegie Mellon have been the forefathers of that.
Okay, great. What are some of the key strengths of your MBA program?
Yeah, so we approach our MBA program through a very analytical and quant-heavy core, right? So for our students who are looking to dig in deep to vast quantities of data, right? Who are looking to learn elements of machine learning to implement into their business practices, who are looking to approach things from a very analytical mindset, we are the program for you. But even if that isn't your strength, we can adapt to that creative side of your brain as well, right? To that leadership-centered side of your brain. So we approach our leadership training through the lens of emotional intelligence in order to make sure that our future leaders are treating their staff, their supporters in the way that they deserve to be treated as equal humans too, right? We firmly believe that, you may have the best ideas and you may have the best approach at utilizing data in order to inform a sound business decision. But if you can't get that buy-in, if you can't rally the people behind you to achieve those goals, what good is it? Right? It doesn't help a situation.
That's true. So, would you like to delve into the details of the teaching methodology at your esteemed B school and share insights with the potential applicants?
Absolutely. It all depends on the professor, of course, right? How that professor is looking to instruct that class. But for the most part, our students will be given a case study as an assignment, right? So you have to read through the case study, determine what the best course of action are. But when you get to class, professor will often have you share your response using educational technology.
Yeah.
You'll be able to see all of your peers' responses on the board, on the projector, and be able to have a discussion thereafter about which responses you think are the best course of action to take, right? Or which responses that the business actually ended up doing. And you have to justify your answer and get the buy-in from your peers as well, right? So this is the formation, this is the foundation of the class. It sort of sets the direction. You engage with discussion at the beginning, and then your professor will take you through the reasoning as to why and start applying the course's learning objectives to that reasoning and help you see what the proper technique is to approach that response.
Okay, interesting. So you were talking about how there's focus on the analytical side of the industry areas. So would you like to share more details about the disciplines or the industry areas for which the MBA program is particularly strong?
Absolutely. So as of our class of 2023, we're still working on data for 2024, but we had about 42% of our class go into consulting. And this makes sense based upon the students that we typically see, right? I believe that we had about 30% of our class of 2023 come in with an engineering background of some kind, right? So these individuals are looking to make a pivot into business, so they need some broader exposure to business concepts. So engineering is a very attractive field. Consulting is a very attractive field to them because they're able to work on all sorts of little projects across a spectrum of functionalities in order to discover what they really like within the business field. So that's why we see about 42% of our students going into consulting. From there, about 30%, I believe, maybe a little bit less, go into product management, technology. So our tech and consulting sectors are very heavily recruited, and a close third is our financial services. So some of the companies that we see students typically go off to after graduation are BCG, McKinsey, Bain, Deloitte. We've had students in Google, Amazon, Spotify, a whole host of different top companies.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing the details of the placements because usually, applicants are very curious to know about the potential recruiters and
Absolutely.
the placement statistics.
Absolutely, yeah. We're happy to be very transparent about that, and all of our recruiting partners are available on our website for students to take a look at as well.
Right. Okay. So, what would you like to tell the potential applicants about the campus life in and outside the classroom?
Yeah, so inside the classroom, I won't lie, it is a challenging curriculum environment, right? It's a challenging educational environment. We are Carnegie Mellon at the end of the day, and we are known for our academic rigor of our programs. But because it is a challenging environment, that leads to stronger bonds within the classroom environment as well, right? In order to get through challenging programs, you have to have strong relationships with your peers. We are a small environment by design. So every year we're bringing in roughly 160 to 170 MBA students. So our total cohort size is around 320, 340. You're going to know everybody. You're going to be there with students from a wide variety of backgrounds, everything from, a senior product manager to possibly a high school English teacher, right?
Yep.
So all sorts of different skill levels, all sorts of different specialties coming together to get through the MBA, right? We believe that this is an environment really where iron sharpens iron, right? You may be a whiz when it comes to some of these data collection, data analysis topics, but you don't quite know how to present it in that compelling manner. But your friend has been doing presentations as a marketing manager for years, right? So she may be more adept at sort of that storytelling element, but needs some more help on that data side of things. This is where that exchange of ideas happens. This is where you're able to help each other learn and grow. And your cohort is really going to help you learn and grow across these 2 years.
Correct. It's a very wholesome, emotional journey, I would say, when people and experienced professionals from different industry areas actually come together for this MBA program.
Absolutely.
So, about the selection process, since you said people from various fields actually come into this program, so would you like to throw some light on your selection process? And what are a few broad qualities and accomplishments that you look for in the candidates?
Oh my, that is a great question. It is very much so a holistic process that we're enabling when we do this process, right? So in terms of broad strokes, we're looking for academic preparedness, right? Are you able to handle the curriculum? And there are a lot of ways to demonstrate that. So that could be through your traditional undergraduate experience, your GPA, your class ranking. That could be through your standardized tests as well. So GMAT, GRE, executive assessment, we accept as well. It could be through professional certifications that you've achieved, right? Maybe you are a chartered accountant or a CPA in the United States. Perhaps you have earned some financial Series 6 certifications, for example, right? There are all sorts of different ways to prove that academic preparedness. We look at students' ability to demonstrate teamwork. How have you been supporting your colleagues in your work environment? How do you support the community at large where you're coming from as well, right? Does that look like you're giving back to the community? Are you serving on different committees at work? Do you display leadership capabilities? We understand that not all leadership is formal. It's not all hierarchical. This could be peer leadership. This could be 360 leadership, right? How are you displaying those qualities of a leader? Do you have that executive presence to carry through an MBA program? We are looking for individuals who have a sense of community building as well. Are you somebody who is going to see the value in the diversity that others are bringing to the table? And are you going to be able to use that in order to strengthen your own perspectives as you go out into the business environment? Again, a whole host of different things that we're looking at in our assessment. It is very holistic.
Yeah, I'm sure it must be such a difficult, complex process, selecting all the brilliant students and minds.
It is. It absolutely is. And it can be heartbreaking at times when you have to tell a student no, right? I mean, that's, yeah.
Yeah. So, you mentioned about the standardized exams like GMAT and GRE. So, under what circumstances would you recommend the applicants to apply with how to score on these standardized exams?
Yeah, I think if you have a standout undergraduate experience, right? Maybe you're in the top 10% of your graduate class. That's not a hard and fast rule, of course. But, if you have had an excellent undergraduate experience and the other elements of your application are standout as well,
Yeah.
you might be able to get by applying for a test waiver, right? There is no penalty to applying for a test waiver or being granted a test waiver. You are still considered for admission. You're still considered for financial aid as well as scholarship opportunity as well. It's just another way of saying, hey, I have this demonstrated academic preparedness. I don't believe that I need to show it further through the test, through a standardized test.
Okay, that's great. So, how has the advent of artificial intelligence affected the applications assessment process? What would be your advice for the applicants regarding the usage of AI?
So, from my perspective on the admissions committee, it has not affected the way in which we assess the applicants. So every application is looked at by the human eye. We do not put it through a computerized system, even though we use an application system to manage the applications. We don't implement AI to sift through the stronger applications and rank students. Not at all. Every single person is examined by an application reader or an application processor. But as far as the students, we are seeing now more and more students turning to AI to tweak their resume, to tweak their personal statement, their essay. I believe, and Carnegie Mellon believes that AI is a tool to be used, right? It's all about how we use it, right? Are you trying to pass this off as your own words, or are you just looking to sort of strengthen your argument in some areas, right? For our essay, as it currently stands, it will be changing most likely for fall 2025's application. But as it currently stands, we're asking you to talk about a time where you experienced an inclusive environment. AI cannot replicate that experience for you. Right? It can't create something out of nothing. So you must be reflective and really discuss how you've experienced this. So again, it's a tool for you to maybe do a quick comprehension check or check for proper punctuation and things like that. But it can't create what we're looking for.
Absolutely. I believe AI actually takes away the personalized feel that we have in our essays and our writings. It's just so robotic that personalization, the humanized words are not there in it.
Absolutely.
Right. So, what are a few of the most common mistakes committed by applicants in their applications, and what would be your advice to the potential applicants?
Yeah. So a common mistake that I think myself and my other peers at other institutions tend to see would be from the essays. Some students forget to change the name of the school, right? It's a common mistake. They think that they're able to simply copy and paste their essay over without giving any thought to if the prompts are different. So they accidentally leave the original school that that they wrote for. So make sure that you use, find and replace on Microsoft Word. That will be your best friend in doing some things. Some students also tend to assume that they have to create a persona for the admissions process, right? They have to pretend to be this polished business person, right? That they have to think that they have to be the ideal candidate that admissions officers have created in their heads. We don't want that. We want your authentic self in this process, right? So I when I'm interviewing a student, I want to see you at your authentic self, right? Yes, demonstrating some of this executive presence, knowing how to speak, how to maintain eye contact, even in a Zoom interview, but being authentic as well, because you're going to be coming into our community, you're going to be impacting the community, you're going to be shaping that community. So who are you bringing to this area, to this environment? Another common thing that I see that I would recommend students do is that you have space for an optional essay in most of your applications, especially in our application. Make use of that space. I've been in admissions for about 10 or so years, and I always tell students, even when I was working at the undergraduate level, the optional essay shouldn't be optional. You should make the best use of that space in order to explain anything that an admissions officer might question. So maybe you have a gap in your resume of a couple months. You were job searching. Let me know that. Let me know what you were doing during that time. Maybe you had a rough transition from your first year to your second year in undergrad. What happened? Give me a quick explanation of what happened. Maybe you're looking at making a huge pivot in your career, and that 2-minute video essay just doesn't quite cover it. You can continue to explain some things or your motivation for wanting to do this career in your optional essay. You never want the admissions officer who's reading your application to start guessing, because we're going to fill in those blanks with what's going on in our own head. You want to control the narrative. You want to control the story.
This is so important. Thank you for explaining it in details, because I don't think a lot of students think about optional essays so importantly. Like they don't consider it as a priority, and a lot of them skip it. So getting to know things from your perspective really helps and adds more value to the applications. All the students who will be watching this video will learn a lot from the insights that you've shared with us.
I hope so.
Yeah, definitely will, I'm sure. So, what would be your final message or advice to all the potential applicants and students who are watching this video?
Oh, potential advice for potential students. I can't reiterate enough being yourself in this process, right? Making sure that you have really thought through why you're looking for the MBA, what the benefits of this are going to be, what the challenges are going to be for you as well. It really is a very reflective process that's going to challenge the student to consider and reconsider, what their expectations are for a program, what it means to relocate as well from, the home country to the United States to pursue their education, if that's in case their pathway, what the challenges and opportunities are going to be as you pursue the degree, as you pursue your future career, and looking to really synthesize that into your application and into your interview. If you're able to get to know your admissions officers, most schools have a listing of us available online through directories or through About Me pages. Read about us. Feel free to email out to us directly and see if you're able to schedule an interview. Well, not an interview, but rather a coffee chat with the admissions officers or with student ambassadors as well. The students have a much better perspective on the school than I do, right? They are living and breathing this every day.
Right.
I go there every day, but I don't have to attend class. Right. So my perspective is different than theirs, but they will tell you exactly what they're experiencing every day, and they're a great resource to take up during this process.
Yeah, absolutely. I think reaching out to the students and also the alumni is something that would really help a lot of applicants. They would get a first-hand information about their learnings and experiences.
Absolutely. And what's nice about connecting with alumni, too, is they will continue to provide you with referrals and resources. So you may be reaching out to an alumni who has a successful product management career, and they'll think of something that you said during the coffee chat and say, wait, let me give you the LinkedIn for my friend. Here, you want to reach out to her. And it just keeps growing from there.
Right. Yeah. So I think networking is a very, very important factor when one wants to do an MBA program.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what's nice, too, is I don't think a lot of students consider that, if you've really established a relationship with a student or with an alumni, they're more willing to provide you with a referral or with some type of letter of recommendation through the process as well, which can be looked upon favorably by admissions committee. So that's one more check in your box, so to speak.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Gomez. This was such an insightful session, and we're so glad you were able to interview with us. Thanks a lot for your time.
Absolutely. Happy to have been here. I'd encourage you to visit cmu.edu/Tepper, see our upcoming events, see where we're traveling, what webinars we're having, and hopefully we'll be hearing from you soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and have a great day, Mr. Gomez.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.